Today, we journey into the world of Rivellon to explore the complete tale of Divinity, original sin. Over the next few hours, we'll uncover the mysteries of source magic, the cosmic threat of the Void Dragon, and the destiny of two unlikely heroes who would reshape the very fabric of existence. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's begin this epic adventure together. Chapter 1: The Nature of Source and the Order of Source. Hunters. Long before our story begins, the world of Rivellon was blessed with a benevolent magical energy known as Source. This power was intimately connected to Astarte, the goddess of life herself, and for ages, those who could wield Source, called sorcerers, brought great good to the world. They were healers, protectors, and guardians of the natural order, but something went terribly wrong. Centuries before our tale unfolds, Source became corrupted by an entity known only as the Void, an evil force from beyond the material world. When Source was tainted, those who had once been forces of healing and restoration became instruments of destruction and chaos. The very magic that had once brought life now brought only death and suffering. It was during this dark transformation that one particular sorcerer rose to terrible prominence: Brachus Rex. This ancient tyrant used his corrupted source powers to rule his lands with an iron fist, seeing all others, including his own sister, as nothing more than pawns in his grand designs. From his fortress on Fort Joy, located on Reaper's Eye, Brachus developed tools for containing and purging Source from others, ensuring that no one could challenge his position as the undisputed monarch of his domain. The threat Brachus posed was so great that it would have undone all of Rivellon if not for the intervention of the Council of Seven, 7 wise rulers who recognized that extraordinary measures were needed. These leaders ordered the creation of a new order of elite warriors, specially trained to fight the Source menace that threatened to consume everything they held dear. Thus was born the Order of the Source Hunters. The Source Hunters were uniquely trained to recognize and combat corrupted source magic. Unlike other forms of magic, Source is particularly difficult to identify. It requires years of experience for even seasoned mages to sense its presence, much like how others might smell the sickly sweet scent of poison or hear the barely perceptible scrape of a sword being loosened from its sheath. Source could be channeled through various objects, weapons, gems, or metals, making it even more dangerous as it could be concealed within seemingly innocent items. The objective of the Source Hunters was simple yet daunting: to eradicate the Source menace from Rivellon, one sorcerer at a time. After a long and terrible war, Brachus Rex was finally defeated, and the Order of the Source Hunters began their legacy of protection. For centuries, they maintained their vigilant watch, hunting down those who would abuse the corrupted power of Source. They developed techniques for recognizing the telltale signs of Source corruption, methods for neutralizing Source-wielding opponents, and protocols for containing dangerous Source artifacts. Their work was essential to maintaining peace and stability throughout Rivellon. But as we shall see, their greatest challenge was yet to come. Chapter 2: A routine investigation becomes something more. Our story begins with what appears to be a routine assignment for 2 Source Hunters. These warriors, trained in the ancient traditions of their order, receive orders to investigate the murder of a town councillor in Cyseal, a bustling port town in southern Rivellon. The death of Councillor Jake appears to be a clear-cut case of sorcery, the kind of investigation that Source Hunters had conducted countless times before. However, their journey to Cyseal is immediately complicated by circumstances beyond their control. The ship carrying our heroes is forced to make an emergency landing on the beach east of the city, as Cyseal finds itself under siege by orcs and undead forces. This is no coincidence. As the Source Hunters will soon discover, these attacks are being orchestrated as part of a much larger and more sinister conspiracy. Upon arriving at the beach, the Source Hunters encounter their first taste of the dangers that await them. they are immediately waylaid by a group of tomb raiders who are escaping with a mysterious stone. The leader of these raiders displays clear signs of necromantic power, another indication that source magic is very much at play in the events unfolding around Cyseal. These tomb raiders have stolen what they call a bloodstone from an ancient catacomb, and the undead guardian of that tomb is understandably furious about the theft. This bloodstone, as the source hunters will later learn, is far more significant than it initially appears. It is, in fact, a corrupted starstone, an artifact that will prove central to understanding the cosmic threat that looms over all of existence. After dealing with the orc assault on the beaches of Cyseal, where they fight alongside the city's legionnaires against young orc troopers, an orc shaman, and human black cultists, the source hunters finally make their way to the city proper. Here they meet Ahu, the wizard who had originally summoned them to investigate the murder, and Captain Arius of the Legion. The murder scene itself is located in the King Crab Inn, where Councillor Jake met his end. Upon investigating the room where the murder took place, the source hunters discover their first starstone. The moment they touch this mysterious crystal, they are transported to an extraordinary realm known as the Homestead. Chapter 3: The Homestead and the End of Time. The Homestead exists outside of regular space-time, a mysterious fortress that is immediately familiar to both source hunters, though they cannot explain why. This is their first hint that there is far more to their own identities than they remember. In this strange dimension, they encounter two beings who will become crucial to their quest: the Weaver of Time and her assistant, Zigzags. The Weaver of Time is an ancient and powerful entity who exists at what she calls the End of Time, a place where past, present, and future converge. She reveals to the source hunters that they have been brought to this place because of a cosmic threat that endangers not just Rivellon, but all of existence itself. The threat comes from a creature known as the Void Dragon, which has been devouring time itself. Zigzags, the Weaver's devoted assistant, explains that the source hunters must seek out additional starstones scattered throughout Rivellon. These crystalline artifacts are the only things that can unlock the path to confronting the Void Dragon and preventing the complete destruction of reality. Each starstone they find will unlock new areas of the Homestead, gradually revealing more about their true purpose and destiny. The Homestead serves as both a sanctuary and a repository of knowledge. As the source hunters discover more starstones throughout their journey, new rooms and areas become accessible. They find the Hall of Heroes, where fallen companions can rest and where new allies can be recruited. There's the Armory, filled with powerful weapons and equipment. The library contains ancient tomes and scrolls that shed light on the history of Rivellon and the nature of the cosmic forces at play. Most importantly, the Homestead provides the source hunters with a way to travel instantly between locations they've previously visited through magical portals. This ability will prove essential as their investigation expands far beyond the borders of Cyseal. Zigzags explains that starstones and bloodstones are essentially the same thing. Bloodstones are simply starstones that have been corrupted by the sacrificial rituals of their enemies. When used, these stones provide powerful healing effects and unlock new areas of the Homestead, but they also serve a more important purpose. They are crystallized fragments of memories that have been lost to time. Chapter 4: The murder mystery deepens. Returning to the investigation in Cyseal, the source hunters begin a methodical examination of the circumstances surrounding Councillor Jake's death. The victim was found dead under mysterious circumstances, and several suspects emerged during the initial investigation. Captain Arius grants them permission to investigate the scene of the crime and suggests they speak with Roberts at the morgue for additional information. Ahu provides crucial background about the night of the murder and directs them to question key witnesses and suspects. The investigation reveals that Jake's wife, Esmeralda, had been conducting what appeared to be an affair with a guard. This immediately makes her a suspect, as the classic motive of a wife murdering her unfaithful husband seemed to fit the circumstances. However, further investigation reveals that while Esmeralda may have been unfaithful, she was not the killer. The undertaker, Roberts, provides another crucial piece of information. Jake's body has been stolen from the morgue. This discovery significantly complicates the case, as it suggests that the murder was not simply a crime of passion, but part of a larger, more sinister plot. Roberts mentions 4 primary suspects who had opportunity to steal the body: Mayor Cyseal, Captain Aureus, Evelyn the healer's apprentice, and Esmeralda. Through careful investigation of Esmeralda's house, the source hunters discover several pieces of evidence that initially seemed damning: a bloody butcher's knife, a love letter, and what appears to be a murder manual. When confronted with this evidence, Esmeralda vehemently denies any involvement in her husband's death and instead points the investigation toward Evelyn, the young woman who serves as apprentice to Rivellon, the town's primary healer. The investigation takes an interesting turn when the source hunters encounter Evelyn in Rivellon's clinic. She is tending to 2 critically injured patients and possesses a mysterious healing stone that she claims can save one of them. The source hunters are asked to make a difficult choice: which patient should receive the life-saving treatment? This healing stone proves to be another bloodstone, and when used, it provides the same mystical transportation to the homestead that the source hunters experienced before. Evelyn claims that she received the stone from someone named Loic, a healer in the town of Silverglen who belongs to a faith called the Immaculates. According to Evelyn, the Immaculates believe that certain stones can heal wounded flesh, a belief that will prove to have much darker implications. When pressed about the source of these stones and her connection to the murder, Evelyn becomes evasive and eventually disappears entirely from the clinic. Thaliron, her mentor, is clearly frustrated by her secretive behavior and grants the source hunters permission to search her house for clues. Chapter 5: Uncovering the Conspiracy. The search of Evelyn's house yields crucial evidence that transforms the case from a simple murder investigation into something far more significant. In her belongings, the source hunters discover a reveal spell and a diary that mentions a hidden laboratory somewhere to the north of Cyseal. The diary also indicates Evelyn's involvement in the theft of the Staff of Pergamon by someone named Dietmar. Using the reveal spell near the northern beaches of Cyseal, the source hunters uncover a hidden entrance to Evelyn's secret laboratory. This underground facility is far more sophisticated than anything a simple healer's apprentice should possess, and it's guarded by members of the Immaculates, the cult that Evelyn had mentioned earlier. The cultists present an interesting moral choice for the source hunters. While the human cultists are hostile and must be fought, the orc members can potentially be reasoned with and convinced to leave peacefully. This encounter provides the first clear evidence that the murder of Councillor Jake is connected to a much larger conspiracy involving the Immaculates. In the deepest chamber of the laboratory, the source hunters finally confront Evelyn. She stands next to the undead body of Councillor Jake, confirming that she was indeed responsible for his death and the subsequent theft of his corpse. However, before she can explain her motives, another figure appears, a mysterious woman who chastises Evelyn for her recklessness before disappearing upon spotting the source hunters. This woman is revealed to be Leandra, though the source hunters don't yet know her true significance. Her presence in Evelyn's laboratory and her obvious authority over the young woman indicate that Evelyn was merely a pawn in a much larger game. Evelyn, now exposed and cornered, summons powerful magical creatures to defend herself. Burning rams, a demon, a sorcerer, and a Burning Legion's leader. The battle is intense, but the source hunters ultimately prevail. With Evelyn defeated, they have solved the immediate mystery of Councillor Jake's murder, but they have also uncovered evidence of a conspiracy that threatens far more than just one small port town. The murder investigation serves as a masterful tutorial for the larger adventure to come. It introduces the source hunters to the methods they'll need to employ throughout their journey: careful investigation, diplomatic choices, strategic combat, and the gradual revelation of a truth that is far more complex and dangerous than initially apparent. Chapter 6: The White Witch and the Fairy Realm. With the murder mystery solved, the Source Hunters' investigation leads them beyond Cyseal and into the broader world of Rivellon. Evidence from Evelyn's laboratory points toward the involvement of someone known as the White Witch, who is said to be the guardian of the Lucular Forest. The trail of clues suggests that this mysterious figure may have been involved in the larger conspiracy surrounding Jake's murder. Their search for the White Witch takes the Source Hunters to the fairy realm of Hyberheim, a mystical dimension of eternal winter and crystalline beauty. Here, in this realm of ice and snow, they discover the White Witch trapped within a block of solid ice, imprisoned by the true mastermind behind the conspiracy they've been unraveling. When the Source Hunters manage to free her from her icy prison, the White Witch introduces herself as Icara. Far from being the villain they had been led to believe, she reveals that she is actually another victim of the conspiracy. She confesses to accidentally killing Counselor Jake, but explains that this was never her intention. Her confession comes as a relief to the Source Hunters, who have uncovered extensive evidence of sorcery, mass murder, and human sacrifice carried out by the Immaculates. Given the choice between pursuing the apparently remorseful Icara or focusing their efforts on the cult that has been systematically murdering innocents, the Source Hunters choose to ally themselves with Icara against their common enemy. This decision proves wise, as Icara possesses crucial information about the true nature of the threat they face. Icara reveals that the leader of the Immaculates, known as the Conduit, is actually her own estranged sister, Leandra. This revelation adds a deeply personal dimension to the conflict, as it becomes clear that the cosmic threat they face has torn apart a family and corrupted someone who was once close to Ikara's heart. The relationship between the sisters is complex and tragic. They were once soul-forged, connected by a psychic link that allowed them to share thoughts and emotions. This bond was created in their childhood, and the sisters lived a solitary life in the Lucular Forest, caring for the animals and seldom interacting with other humans. Icara explains that she and Leandra lived a solitary life in the Lucular Forest, caring for the animals and seldom interacting with other humans. Their peaceful existence was disrupted by the arrival of Zandalor, a powerful wizard whose kind nature had an immediate effect on both sisters. However, the soul forge that connected them meant they were painfully aware of each other's romantic feelings for the newcomer. When Zandalor and Icara declared their love to each other, the revelation was devastating for Leandra. Unable to bear the pain of knowing her sister's happiness while experiencing her own heartbreak, Leandra fled their home. In her moment of weakness and despair, she was approached by an entity called the Trife, who seduced her with the notion of peaceful non-existence for all. This corruption of Leandra represents one of the great tragedies of the story. A woman who was once capable of love and compassion became convinced that the only way to end suffering was to end existence itself. The Trife convinced her that this could be achieved by sealing Astarte, the goddess of life, in the God Box, thereby releasing the Void Dragon to consume all of reality. Chapter 7: The Immaculates and Their Dark Purpose. With Icara as their ally, the Source Hunters begin to infiltrate the Immaculates to learn more about Leandra's plans. What they discover reveals the true scope of the threat facing not just Rivellon, but all of existence. The Immaculates are far more than just another religious cult. They are a sophisticated organization with resources and capabilities that span multiple regions. Their operations include advanced mining operations, the creation of powerful undead warriors, and systematic sacrifice rituals designed to create the bloodstones that corrupt the starstones, so crucial to understanding the cosmic order. The cult has been mining tenebrium, a highly toxic metal that has the unique property of being able to harm normally invulnerable entities. This mining operation takes place in the Luculla mines, where the Source Hunters encounter their first Death Knights. Indestructible undead warriors created by Leandra, using a combination of tenebrium and corrupted source magic. The Death Knights represent a new category of threat entirely. Unlike normal undead, these creatures are virtually indestructible through conventional means. They possess incredible strength, are immune to most forms of damage, and serve with unwavering loyalty to their creator. Leandra's plan involves using these Death Knights as an army to conquer all of Rivellon, establishing a dominion of undeath as a stepping stone toward her ultimate goal of universal annihilation. The mining operation itself is a testament to the Immaculate's resources and planning. They have enslaved numerous workers, including some who have been reanimated after death to serve as undead laborers. The conditions in the mines are horrific, with the toxic tenebrium causing gradual poisoning and death to anyone exposed to it without proper protection. The Source Hunters must navigate these mines carefully, using stealth and cunning to avoid the Death Knights that patrol the tunnels. The creatures are nearly impossible to defeat in direct combat at this point in the hero's journey, so invisibility potions and careful timing become essential tools for survival. During their exploration of the mines, the Source Hunters encounter Micus, a trapped survivor who provides crucial information about the layout of the facility and the locations of important tenebrium deposits. They also meet other prisoners who have been forced to work in the mines, some of whom can be rescued while others have already been transformed into undead servants. The ultimate goal of the mining operation becomes clear when the Source Hunters discover Leandra's inner sanctum deep within the mine complex. Here, they learn that she has been using the combination of tenebrium and corrupted source magic not just to create Death Knights, but to develop a failsafe that could theoretically render them vulnerable to attack. In a dramatic confrontation, Leandra attempts to kill the Source Hunters by destroying the entire mine complex. However, her plan backfires when the heroes manage to escape with the very failsafe she had been developing. This artifact, created from Leandra's own blood, holds the key to eventually defeating the Death Knight army she has created. Chapter 8. Starstones and Lost Memories. Throughout their adventures, the Source Hunters continue to encounter starstones, and each discovery brings them closer to understanding their true nature and purpose. These magical crystals are far more than simple artifacts. They are repositories of memories and knowledge from a time before the corruption of source magic. The homestead continues to evolve as more stones are discovered and used. New rooms unlock, revealing ancient libraries, training grounds, and chambers filled with artifacts from ages past. Each new area provides additional pieces of the puzzle that is the Source Hunters' true identity and the cosmic threat they face. Zigzags, their guide in the homestead, gradually reveals more information about the nature of the Starstones and their connection to the hero's quest. He explains that the stones are not just tools for accessing the homestead's facilities, but are actually crystallized fragments of memories from the ancient past. As the Source Hunters collect more stones, they begin to experience visions and recovered memories that hint at their extraordinary origin. The visions reveal glimpses of an ancient time when source magic was pure and benevolent. They see images of great works of healing and creation, of powerful beings working in harmony to protect and nurture life throughout the cosmos. Most importantly, they begin to see flashes of two ancient guardians, a man and a woman, who were granted godlike powers to protect something of immense importance. As more starstones are collected, the visions become clearer and more detailed. The Source Hunters learn that the corruption of source magic was not a natural occurrence, but was the result of a terrible mistake that allowed an entity of pure destruction to escape containment. This entity, known as the Void Dragon, represents the antithesis of life and creation, a force that seeks to return all of existence to the nothingness from which it came. The Starstones also reveal the existence of the God Box, an artifact of unimaginable power that was created to contain the corruption and prevent it from spreading throughout the cosmos. This artifact is hidden in a place called the First Garden, which can only be accessed through the homestead when all the Starstones have been collected and properly utilized. The gradual revelation of these memories creates a fascinating parallel between the Source Hunter's journey of discovery and the player's own experience of uncovering the game's deeper mysteries. Just as the heroes slowly piece together their forgotten past, the player gradually understands the true scope and significance of the adventure they've embarked upon. Chapter 9. The Hunt for Leandra. The trail of the conduit leads the Source Hunters to the town of Hunter's Edge, located near the mysterious Phantom Forest. What they find there is a community completely overrun by the forces of evil. The Immaculates have established a strong presence in the area, supported by orc mercenaries and barbarian warriors who have been recruited to their cause. Hunter's Edge represents a stark example of what happens when the Immaculates gain control of a settlement. The town that once thrived as a peaceful community has been transformed into a militarized outpost, serving the cult's dark purposes. Buildings have been repurposed as barracks and staging areas, while the local population has either fled, been recruited to the cause, or been sacrificed to create more bloodstones. The transformation of Hunter's Edge serves multiple purposes for Leandra's plans. It provides a strategic location for launching operations into the Phantom Forest, where the ancient Source Temple is hidden. It also serves as a recruiting ground for the mercenaries and cultists needed to support her growing army. Most importantly, it demonstrates the effectiveness of her methods and serves as a warning to other communities of what awaits those who oppose her. Despite the overwhelming enemy presence, the Source Hunters find crucial clues left behind by Zandalor, the wizard who had been Icara's lover and Leandra's former friend. These directions point toward the ancient Source Temple hidden deeper in the Phantom Forest. Zandalor's messages are carefully concealed and coded, indicating that he has been working to counter Leandra's plans while avoiding direct confrontation with her forces. The journey through the Phantom Forest proves to be one of the most challenging segments of the Source Hunter's adventure. The forest itself seems to be alive with malevolent energy, and the paths constantly shift and change, making navigation treacherous. Ancient guardians and corrupted creatures roam the woods, while traps and illusions created by both Zandalor and Leandra test the hero's resolve and resourcefulness. The Source Temple, when finally reached, proves to be a structure of incredible antiquity and power. Built in an age when source magic was pure and uncorrupted, it serves as a repository of knowledge and a gateway to understanding the true nature of the cosmic forces at play. The temple's architecture reflects the harmony that once existed between magic and nature, with organic curves and crystalline structures that seem to channel and focus mystical energies. Inside the temple, the Source Hunters finally reunite with Zandalor. The wizard has aged considerably since his separation from Icara, and his face bears the weight of the knowledge he has gained about Leandra's true plans. He explains that the conduit's ultimate objective is not merely conquest, or even the destruction of Rivellon, but access to the God Box in the First Garden. Zandalor reveals that the First Garden is a realm that exists parallel to the homestead, accessible only through the mystical fortress that the Source Hunters have been gradually unlocking. This garden contains the God Box, an artifact created in the earliest days of creation to contain the cosmic forces that threaten all existence. Leandra believes that by gaining control of this artifact, she can either release the Void Dragon to devour reality, or use its power to reshape existence, according to her vision of peaceful nothingness. Chapter 10. The First Garden and the Final Confrontation. With all the Starstones collected and the homestead fully unlocked, the Source Hunters finally gain access to the First Garden. This realm exists outside of normal reality a place where the fundamental forces of creation and destruction meet and where the fate of all existence will be decided. The first garden is a place of incredible beauty and terrible danger. Ancient trees tower overhead, their branches seeming to support the very fabric of reality itself. Crystalline streams flow with liquid light, and flowers bloom with colors that exist nowhere else in creation. Yet beneath this beauty lies a sense of immense power barely contained, as if the garden itself exists on the edge of a cosmic precipice. Here, in this mystical realm, the Source Hunters finally confront Leandra in person. The woman who was once Icara's beloved sister has been transformed by her contact with the Trife and her pursuit of universal annihilation. Her appearance reflects the corruption that has consumed her soul, yet traces of her former beauty and compassion remain, making her a tragic figure as much as a terrifying enemy. The confrontation with Leandra presents the Source Hunters with one of their most important choices. If they have successfully gathered the means to restore the Soul Forge between the sisters during their journey through the Phantom Forest, they can attempt to redeem Leandra, rather than simply destroying her. This path requires not only the proper artifacts and knowledge, but also a deep understanding of the relationship between the sisters and the forces that drove them apart. If the redemption is successful, Leandra recognizes the evil she has become and chooses to leave with Icara and Zandalor to seek repentance for her crimes. This ending represents hope for redemption even in the face of cosmic corruption, suggesting that love and compassion can overcome even the deepest darkness. However, if the Source Hunters cannot or choose not to attempt the redemption, they must fight and destroy Leandra in battle. This confrontation is one of the most challenging in the entire game, as Leandra has access to powerful source magic, can summon Death Knights to aid her, and fights with the desperate fury of someone who believes she is saving the universe through destruction. Regardless of how the confrontation with Leandra concludes, her defeat opens the way to the God Box itself. This ancient artifact appears as a crystalline structure of impossible complexity, its faceted surfaces reflecting not just light, but glimpses of alternate realities and potential futures. The box pulses with contained energy, and just being in its presence fills the Source Hunters with an overwhelming sense of the cosmic forces it contains. Chapter 11. The Truth Revealed. As the Source Hunters approach the God Box, they finally learn the complete truth about their own identities and the cosmic crisis they face. The revelation comes not as a single moment of understanding, but as a flood of recovered memories that transforms their understanding of everything they have experienced. The Source Hunters are revealed to be the reincarnations of two ancient beings of immense power, guardians who were once granted godlike abilities to protect the God Box and the cosmic forces it contains. In their original forms, they were a man and a woman who served as the ultimate defenders of the universal order, standing watch over the boundary between creation and the void. These ancient guardians had successfully imprisoned the corruption of source magic within the God Box eons ago, containing a force that sought to return all of existence to primordial nothingness. For ages beyond counting, they had maintained their vigil, ensuring that the contained destruction could never again threaten the living universe. However, their perfect defense was undone by an act of compassion. Astarte, the goddess of life, was persuaded by a demonic entity known as the Trife to open the God Box. The Trife convinced her that the contained corruption could be purified rather than simply imprisoned, appealing to her nature as a goddess of healing and renewal. Astarte's decision to open the God Box was motivated by the best of intentions. She believed that her power as the goddess of life could transform the contained destruction into something beneficial, or at least neutralize it permanently. However, the corruption that had been contained within the box was far more powerful and malevolent than she had anticipated. When the God Box was opened, the corruption immediately took on a physical form as the Void Dragon, a massive entity of pure destruction that began consuming everything it encountered. Astarte realized her mistake immediately and engaged the dragon in combat, but the creature was too powerful to be destroyed outright. Instead, she was forced to follow it into the void, where they have battled for eternity, locked in an endless cycle of conflict that keeps the dragon from returning to destroy the material universe. The ancient guardians blamed themselves for this catastrophe. They had been charged with protecting the God Box, and they felt that Astarte's ability to open it represented a failure in their duty. As penance for what they perceived as their failure, they chose to be stripped of their divine powers and memories, accepting reincarnation as ordinary mortals who would have to earn their way back to their former state through heroic deeds and personal growth. The Starstones are revealed to be crystallized fragments of these lost memories and powers. Each stone the Source Hunters collected throughout their journey was actually a piece of their former selves, gradually restored through their heroic actions and their growing understanding of their true purpose. Chapter 12: The Trife and the Battle for Existence. With the truth finally revealed, the Source Hunters understand that their ultimate enemy is not Leandra, who was merely a pawn, but the Trife itself, the demonic entity that manipulated Astarte into opening the God Box, and that has been working ever since to complete the destruction it began. The Trife is revealed to be a creature of pure malevolence and manipulation. It lacks the raw power of the Void Dragon, but possesses a cunning intelligence that allows it to corrupt and control others. Throughout history, it has worked to weaken the barriers that keep the Void Dragon contained, manipulating mortals like Leandra to do its bidding while remaining safely hidden from direct confrontation. The confrontation with the Trife takes place in a surreal realm that exists within the God Box itself. Here, reality becomes fluid and unstable, with the very environment shifting and changing as the battle progresses. The Trife demonstrates its power by summoning twisted versions of allies the Source Hunters have encountered throughout their journey, including corrupted images of Ahu, Icara, Zandalore, and Zixax. These summoned beings retain the abilities and knowledge of their originals, but serve the Trife's malevolent purposes. They use familiar spells and tactics against the Source Hunters, creating a deeply unsettling experience as the heroes are forced to fight against corrupted versions of those they have come to trust and rely upon. The battle against the Trife and its summoned allies is as much a test of the Source Hunters' resolve and understanding as it is a test of their combat abilities. They must maintain their focus on their true purpose while resisting the psychological impact of fighting against the faces of their friends and allies. Astarte herself joins the battle, appearing as a figure of incredible beauty and power who has been worn down by eons of conflict with the Void Dragon. Her presence provides crucial support to the Source Hunters, but she is clearly weakened by her eternal struggle. She casts powerful blessing spells that enhance the hero's abilities and provides guidance during the most challenging moments of the confrontation. The defeat of the Trife represents a crucial victory, but it comes at a terrible cost. With its dying breath, the demonic entity summons the Void Dragon itself from the depths of the void where it has been locked in combat with Astarte. The dragon's arrival heralds the beginning of the final, climactic battle that will determine the fate of all existence. Chapter 13: The Void, Dragon's Fury. The Void. Dragon is a creature beyond normal comprehension, a massive entity that embodies the concept of entropy and destruction on a cosmic scale. Its very presence warps reality around it, causing the fabric of space and time to fray and tear. The air itself becomes thick with malevolent energy, and the heroes can feel the weight of infinite emptiness pressing down upon them. The dragon's appearance is both magnificent and terrifying. Its scales seem to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating patches of absolute darkness across its massive form. Its eyes burn with the cold fire of dying stars, and its breath carries the essence of the void itself, a force that doesn't simply destroy but unmakes, reducing whatever it touches to primordial nothingness. The battle against the Void Dragon is unlike any other encounter in the game. The creature possesses multiple forms of attack, from devastating breath weapons that can unmake entire areas to physical strikes that can shatter the strongest defenses. It can summon void creatures to aid it in battle, and it moves with surprising speed for such a massive entity. Most challenging of all, the dragon has the ability to shift between different locations within the battle arena, appearing and disappearing at will as it phases in and out of normal reality. This makes it nearly impossible to predict where its next attack will come from, and forces the Source Hunters to remain constantly mobile and adaptable. Astarte continues to fight alongside the heroes, but her eons of battle have taken their toll. She is visibly weakened, her divine radiance dimmed by the constant struggle against the forces of entropy. Despite her condition, she provides crucial support through blessing spells that increase the hero's chance to hit the dragon and protective magic that helps them survive the creature's devastating attacks. The battle becomes a test of endurance as much as skill. The Void Dragon's massive health reserves mean that even the most powerful attacks only gradually wear it down, while its ability to summon additional creatures creates an ongoing threat that must be managed alongside the primary enemy. Every few turns, Void Widows spawn and slowly make their way toward Astarte, exploding when they reach her and threatening to eliminate the divine support that keeps the heroes in the fight. The Source Hunters must carefully balance their offensive capabilities with the need to protect Astarte and manage the constantly spawning enemies. Healing potions and spells become essential resources, while positioning and tactical movement determine whether the party can survive the dragon's area of effect attacks. As the battle progresses, the dragon becomes increasingly desperate and dangerous. It begins using more powerful attacks, jumping to different corners of the arena to gain tactical advantages, and summoning larger numbers of supporting creatures. The very environment begins to destabilize as the creature's fury reaches its peak, with reality itself seeming to bend and warp around the combatants. Chapter 14. Victory and Sacrifice. After what feels like an eternity of conflict, the combined efforts of the Source Hunters and Astarte finally begin to tell. The Void Dragon's movements become slower and more labored, its attacks less frequent and less accurate. The creature's roars of fury take on a note of desperation as it realizes that its millennia-long quest for universal destruction may finally be coming to an end. In the final moments of the battle, Astarte summons the last of her strength to deliver a crushing blow against the dragon, while the Source Hunters coordinate their most powerful attacks to exploit the opening she creates. The creature's defenses finally crumble under the sustained assault, and with a final, reality-shaking roar, the Void Dragon begins to collapse. However, even in defeat, the dragon represents a threat that cannot be simply destroyed. Its essence is too fundamental to the cosmic order to be eliminated entirely, and its death would create a void that might be filled by something even worse. Instead, Astarte makes the ultimate sacrifice, using her remaining power to banish the dragon back into the God Box, where it can be contained once again. The process requires Astarte to enter the box alongside the dragon, resuming the eternal battle that has kept the forces of destruction at bay for so long. She does this willingly, understanding that her sacrifice is necessary to preserve all of existence. As she prepares to seal herself away once again, she takes a moment to thank the Source Hunters for their courage and dedication. In her final words to the heroes, Astarte reveals a disturbing truth about the cosmic order they have been fighting to preserve. She explains that other gods, beings of power and influence throughout the universe, knowingly allowed Source to become corrupted. This revelation suggests that the corruption of Source magic was not simply a tragic accident, but was permitted or even orchestrated by higher powers for reasons that remain mysterious. This revelation adds a layer of complexity to the hero's victory. While they have succeeded in saving existence from immediate destruction, they have also learned that the cosmic order they serve may be fundamentally flawed or corrupt. The knowledge that other divine beings were complicit in the crisis raises questions about the nature of good and evil on a cosmic scale and suggests that the Source Hunter's work is far from over. With the Void Dragon contained and Astarte sealed within the God Box to maintain the eternal vigil, the immediate threat to existence has been neutralized. However, the Source Hunters are left with the knowledge that greater mysteries and challenges await them in the future. Chapter 15. The Companions and Their Stories. Throughout their epic journey, the Source Hunters were not alone in their quest. They were joined by several remarkable companions, each with their own unique background, motivations, and personal struggles that enriched the tapestry of their adventure. Medora represents the warrior's path in its purest form. Once a Source Hunter herself, stationed at Hunter's Edge during more peaceful times, she had grown complacent in the years of relative calm. This complacency nearly proved fatal when she was captured and tortured by a particularly gruesome orc who left her broken and near death. In her darkest moment, she grasped a mysterious red stone that had been given to her, and her broken bones were suddenly mended, her gouged eyes restored to perfect vision. The red stone that saved her was revealed to be the legendary Bloodstone, one of the corrupted starstones that would prove so crucial to the hero's quest. After her miraculous revival, Medora swore never to be weak again and dedicated herself to finding the orc who had ruined her life. Her personal quest for revenge runs parallel to the larger cosmic struggle, representing the very human desire for justice and closure in the face of seemingly overwhelming evil. Medora's hatred of magic in all its forms, including source magic, stems from her traumatic experience and her belief that relying on supernatural power makes one vulnerable to corruption and defeat. She advocates for physical strength, martial skill, and force of will as the only reliable tools for fighting evil. Her eventual confrontation with her tormentor in Hunter's Edge provides closure to her personal story while demonstrating the importance of facing one's demons rather than running from them. Jahan presents a more complex relationship with magical power. This ancient wizard has lived for nearly 1,000 years, sustained by dark magic in an ongoing quest to preserve his soul from damnation. His longevity comes at a terrible price. He has made a deal with the demon Balberith, trading years of service for the promise of power and extended life. Jahan's story explores themes of redemption and the cost of power. He genuinely desires to do good and fight against the forces of darkness. But his methods and the source of his power put him in constant conflict with his own moral compass. His knowledge of ancient magic and demonic entities proves invaluable to the Source Hunters, but his presence also serves as a constant reminder of the corrupting influence of supernatural power. The companion quest, the King's Dark Deal, forces Jahan to confront Balberith once more, providing an opportunity for him to finally break free from the demonic contract that has defined his existence for centuries. The resolution of this quest determines whether Jahan finds redemption or remains trapped in his cycle of supernatural servitude. Bear Dota offers a completely different perspective on the world and its conflicts. Raised by bears in the wilderness after being separated from human civilization, she possesses a natural immunity to tenebrium-induced rot that proves crucial during the exploration of the Lucala mines. Her feral upbringing has left her with poor social skills and a direct, often brutal approach to problem solving. Despite her rough exterior and unconventional background, Bear Dota is driven by loyalty and a genuine desire to find her mentor, the wizard Jareth. She learned about humanity from this mysterious figure and her quest to rescue him from the witch Attenbearer represents her attempt to reconnect with the civilized world while maintaining her wild nature. Beardota's story highlights the tension between civilization and wilderness, between learned behavior and natural instinct. Her unique perspective often provides solutions to problems that more conventional characters might miss, while her loyalty and fierce fighting ability make her an invaluable ally in combat. Each companion's personal story interweaves with the larger narrative of cosmic threat and heroic destiny. Their individual struggles with revenge, redemption, and identity reflect the themes that run throughout the entire adventure, while their diverse backgrounds and abilities provide the source hunters with the tools and knowledge needed to overcome the challenges they face. The companions serve not just as additional party members for combat purposes, but as representations of different approaches to dealing with evil and corruption. Medora's direct physical approach contrasts with Jahan's reliance on potentially dangerous magical power, while Beardota's natural instinctive methods offer an alternative to both civilized and supernatural solutions. Chapter 16. The Deeper Mysteries of Rivellon. The world of Rivellon itself serves as more than just a backdrop for the hero's adventure. It is a living, breathing realm with its own deep history and complex magical ecology that influences every aspect of the story. Understanding this world and its hidden secrets becomes crucial to comprehending the full scope of the cosmic drama that unfolds within it. The corruption of source magic represents just one chapter in Rivellon's long and often troubled history. Long before the events of our story, the world was home to ancient civilizations that worked with pure, uncorrupted magical forces. Artifacts and ruins from these bygone eras can be found throughout the land, each holding clues to the true nature of magic and the cosmic forces that shape reality. The relationship between the physical world and the mystical realms that surround it is complex and ever-changing. The homestead exists outside normal space and time, accessible only through the starstones that serve as keys to understanding the deeper mysteries of existence. The first garden represents another layer of reality, where the fundamental forces of creation and destruction meet and interact. Heiberheim, the fairy realm where Icara was imprisoned, demonstrates that Rivellon is connected to multiple dimensions and planes of existence. These connections suggest that the corruption of source magic has implications far beyond just one world, potentially affecting an entire network of interconnected realities. The presence of ancient beings like Zandalor, who has knowledge of events spanning centuries, indicates that some individuals have found ways to extend their existence far beyond normal mortal limits. Whether through magical means, divine intervention, or sheer force of will, these long-lived entities serve as repositories of knowledge about the world's hidden history. The very geography of Rivellon tells a story of magical influence and cosmic intervention. The Lucula forest, where Icara and Leandra once lived in harmony, is a place where the natural world and magical forces exist in perfect balance. The corruption of this balance through Leandra's fall represents the broader theme of harmony destroyed by external manipulation. The Phantom Forest, with its shifting paths and hidden temples, suggests that some areas of the world exist partially outside normal reality. These liminal spaces serve as gateways between different planes of existence and as repositories for knowledge and artifacts from ages past. The existence of multiple forms of magic, from the pure source of ancient times to the corrupted version that threatens the world, from the elemental magic practiced by various schools to the divine power wielded by gods and goddesses, indicates that Rivellon exists at the intersection of multiple magical traditions and cosmic forces. Chapter 17. The Nature of Good and Evil. One of the most sophisticated aspects of Divinity. Original Sin's narrative is its complex treatment of morality and the nature of good and evil. Rather than presenting simple black and white conflicts, the story consistently challenges players to consider the motivations and circumstances that drive characters to make difficult choices. Leandra serves as the perfect example of this moral complexity. Her transformation from a loving sister into the conduit of a destructive cult is not the result of inherent evil, but of heartbreak, manipulation, and a misguided attempt to end suffering through destruction. Her belief that universal non-existence represents a form of mercy demonstrates how even the most destructive actions can be motivated by a twisted form of compassion. The Immaculates themselves represent another layer of moral ambiguity. While their methods are clearly evil, including human sacrifice, the creation of undead armies, and the systematic destruction of communities, their ultimate goal is to end what they perceive as the fundamental suffering inherent in existence. From their perspective, they are offering a final solution to pain, death, and loss. Even the ancient gods who permitted the corruption of Source are not presented as straightforwardly evil. Astarte's decision to open the God Box was motivated by genuine compassion and a desire to heal rather than simply contain corruption. Her mistake demonstrates how even divine beings can be deceived and how good intentions can lead to catastrophic consequences. The Source Hunters themselves face numerous moral choices throughout their journey. The decision of which patient to heal with Evelyn's bloodstone, the choice of whether to attempt Leandra's redemption or simply destroy her, and the ongoing question of how to deal with corrupted beings all require careful consideration of competing moral claims. The game consistently presents situations where the right choice is not immediately obvious. Should mercy be shown to those who have been corrupted against their will? Is it better to destroy evil quickly and decisively, or to attempt redemption even when it might allow that evil to continue causing harm? How much sacrifice is justified in the name of the greater good? These moral complexities extend to the companions as well. Jahan's deal with demonic forces makes him a potentially dangerous ally, yet his knowledge and power prove essential to saving the world. Medora's quest for revenge could be seen as justice or as a destructive obsession that distracts from more important goals. Beardota's lack of social conditioning makes her unpredictable, but it also allows her to see solutions that more civilized characters might miss. The ultimate revelation that other gods knowingly allowed Source to become corrupted adds another layer to these moral questions. If the cosmic order itself is flawed or corrupt, what does it mean to fight to preserve it? The Source Hunter's victory saves existence, but it also maintains a system that may be fundamentally unjust. Chapter 18. The Mechanics of Heroism. The journey of the Source Hunters from ordinary investigators to cosmic guardians represents a masterful exploration of what it means to become a hero. Their transformation is not simply a matter of gaining power or equipment, but of gradually understanding their true nature and accepting the responsibilities that come with great ability. The Starstones serve as both literal power-ups and metaphors for the recovery of lost wisdom and purpose. Each stone the heroes collect represents not just a new ability or access to a new area, but a piece of their forgotten identity returning to them. This gradual revelation creates a sense of growing understanding and empowerment that mirrors the classic hero's journey. The choice of companions reflects different aspects of the heroic path. Medora represents the importance of physical courage and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Jahan embodies the necessity of knowledge and magical power, even when that power comes with moral complications. Beardota demonstrates the value of natural instinct and loyalty, uncompromised by social conditioning. The Source Hunters' development of their abilities follows a logical progression from mundane investigators to cosmic champions. They begin with basic combat skills and simple magical abilities, gradually acquiring more powerful spells, better equipment, and deeper understanding of the forces they face. This progression feels earned rather than arbitrary, as each new capability comes as a result of overcoming specific challenges and gaining specific knowledge. The hero's relationship with the various factions they encounter also reflects their growing understanding of their role in the cosmic order. Initially, they work within existing systems, investigating the murder as agents of established authority, following leads provided by city officials, and working to maintain the status quo. As their understanding deepens, they begin to operate more independently, making decisions based on their own moral compass rather than external authority. The ultimate revelation of their true identity as reincarnated cosmic guardians provides the final piece of their heroic transformation. This knowledge doesn't diminish their achievements, but rather explains why they were capable of such extraordinary deeds. They were not ordinary mortals who happened to stumble into cosmic significance, but beings of great power who had chosen to forget their nature in order to earn their way back to their former status. The sacrifice required to complete their mission, allowing Astarte to seal herself away with the Void Dragon, demonstrates that true heroism often requires accepting difficult truths and making painful choices. The Source Hunters must live with the knowledge that their victory came at the cost of another's eternal suffering, and that the cosmic order they have preserved may itself be flawed. Chapter 19. The Enhanced Edition and its Additions. The Enhanced Edition of Divinity, Original Sin, expanded upon the original story with additional content, improved voice acting, and refined gameplay mechanics that deepened the player's understanding of the world and characters. These additions serve not just to improve the technical aspects of the game, but to enhance the narrative and thematic elements that made the original so compelling. The full voice acting brought new life to the characters and their relationships. Conversations that were previously text-only gained emotional depth through skilled vocal performances that conveyed the weight of the story's dramatic moments. The relationship between Icara and Leandra became more poignant, while the ancient wisdom of characters like Zandalor gained gravitas through experienced voice work. Additional quests and storylines provided more opportunities to explore the moral complexities that define the game's approach to heroism and villainy. New companion interactions revealed additional facets of their personalities and backgrounds, while expanded dialogue options allowed for more nuanced responses to the ethical dilemmas the heroes face. The combat system received refinements that made encounters more strategic and engaging. The addition of new spells and abilities provided more tactical options, while improvements to the AI made enemies more challenging and unpredictable. These changes enhanced the feeling of growth and development as the Source Hunters progressed from relatively weak investigators to cosmic champions. The crafting system saw significant improvements that made item creation more intuitive and rewarding. The ability to combine materials in logical ways to create useful equipment and consumables added a layer of resource management that complemented the strategic elements of combat and exploration. Quality of life improvements such as better inventory management and more intuitive quest tracking allowed players to focus more on the story and less on managing mechanical systems. These changes made the game more accessible to new players, while maintaining the depth and complexity that appealed to RPG veterans. The Enhanced Edition also included additional visual effects and improved graphics that brought the world of Rivellon to life with greater detail and atmosphere. Environmental storytelling became more effective as improved lighting and texture work helped convey the mood and history of different locations. Chapter 20. Legacy and Influence. Divinity, Original Sin, established many of the themes and mechanical innovations that would define the series and influence the broader RPG genre. Its approach to cooperative storytelling, environmental interaction, and moral complexity set new standards for what role-playing games could achieve in terms of player agency and narrative depth. The game's cooperative features, which allowed two players to control the main characters and make decisions together, represented a significant innovation in RPG design. The system for resolving disagreements between players, through in-character debates and rock-paper-scissors competitions, provided a mechanical framework for collaborative storytelling that maintained narrative immersion while accommodating different player preferences. The environmental interaction system, which allowed players to combine elements like fire, water, ice, and electricity in complex ways, created emergent gameplay situations that encouraged creative problem-solving. This system would be further refined in later games in the series and has influenced numerous other RPGs that have adopted similar approaches to elemental interaction. The game's approach to moral choice and consequence demonstrated that RPGs could tackle complex ethical questions without resorting to simple good versus evil dichotomies. The nuanced treatment of characters like Leandra and Jahan showed that compelling stories could emerge from exploring the grey areas between heroism and villainy. The success of the game's Kickstarter campaign also demonstrated the viability of crowd-funded RPG development and helped pave the way for other developers to pursue independent funding for ambitious projects. The inclusion of powerful modding tools with the base game encouraged community creativity and extended the game's lifespan well beyond its initial release. The game's influence can be seen in subsequent RPGs that have adopted similar approaches to player choice, environmental interaction, and cooperative gameplay. The success of Divinity Original Sin 2 built upon the foundation established by the first game while addressing some of its limitations and expanding its scope. The story of the Source Hunters and their battle against cosmic destruction has become a touchstone for discussions about the nature of heroism in video games. The revelation that the heroes were ancient guardians who had chosen to forget their power in order to earn it back through heroic deeds provides a unique twist on the traditional Chosen One narrative. Chapter 21. The Broader Universe. Divinity Original Sin exists within a larger universe that includes multiple games, each exploring different aspects of Rivellon's history and the cosmic forces that shape it. Understanding this broader context enhances appreciation for the specific story told in the first Original Sin game, while providing hints about the greater mysteries that remain to be explored. The events of Original Sin take place well before the other main games in the Divinity series, making it a prequel that explains the origins of many concepts and conflicts that appear in later titles. The corruption of source magic, the establishment of the Source Hunter Order, and the cosmic battle between creation and destruction all have ramifications that echo throughout the series. The relationship between the Seven Gods and the Lord of Chaos, which forms a central conflict in other games, is given additional context by the events of Original Sin. The revelation that cosmic forces knowingly permitted the corruption of Source suggests that the conflicts between divine beings are more complex than simple good versus evil narratives might suggest. The character of Zandalor, who appears in multiple games throughout the series, serves as a connecting thread between different time periods and storylines. His ancient wisdom and deep knowledge of magical forces make him a valuable ally to heroes across multiple eras, while his personal connections to characters like Icara and Leandra provide emotional continuity between different narratives. The concept of divine ascension, which is explored more fully in later games, has its roots in the story of the Source Hunter's transformation from mortals to cosmic guardians. The process by which ordinary beings can achieve divine status through heroic deeds and moral growth becomes a recurring theme throughout the series. The political and social structures of Rivellon continue to evolve throughout the series, but the foundational elements established in Original Sin, the tension between order and chaos, the corruption of beneficial systems, and the need for heroic intervention in cosmic conflicts, remain constant themes. The magical ecology of Rivellon, including the relationship between different schools of magic, and the various planes of existence that intersect with the material world, continues to develop throughout the series. The Original Sin games provide crucial background for understanding how these systems work, and why they are vulnerable to corruption and manipulation. Chapter 22. Themes of Memory and Identity. One of the most sophisticated aspects of Divinity. Original Sin's narrative structure is its exploration of memory, identity, and the relationship between past and present selves. The Source Hunter's journey is fundamentally about recovering lost memories and understanding how their forgotten past shapes their present purpose. The Starstones serve as physical manifestations of crystallized memories, suggesting that important experiences and knowledge can exist independently of the minds that originally created them. This concept raises fascinating questions about the nature of identity and whether we are defined by our memories, our actions, or some combination of both. The choice made by the ancient guardians to strip themselves of their memories and divine power represents a form of voluntary death and rebirth. They chose to become different people in order to earn their way back to their former status, suggesting that true growth requires letting go of past achievements and starting anew. The gradual recovery of these memories throughout the game creates a unique narrative experience where the player and the characters learn about their true nature simultaneously. This parallel discovery process creates a strong connection between player and character that enhances emotional investment in the story's outcome. The relationship between Icara and Leandra provides another perspective on memory and identity. Their shared childhood memories and soul-forged connection mean that they carry pieces of each other's identity within themselves. Leandra's corruption affects not just her own sense of self, but also damages Icara's understanding of who she is and what she represents. The theme of forgotten knowledge extends beyond the main characters to encompass the entire world of Rivellon. Ancient civilizations, lost magical techniques, and buried histories all play crucial roles in the unfolding crisis. The heroes must not only recover their own forgotten past, but also uncover the hidden truths that previous generations have lost or deliberately concealed. The game suggests that forgetting can be both a curse and a blessing. The Source Hunter's forgotten divine nature allows them to experience genuine growth and development as they relearn their powers and responsibilities. However, the world's forgotten history of cosmic manipulation and divine corruption creates vulnerabilities that can be exploited by entities like the Trife. Chapter 23. The Philosophy of Sacrifice. Throughout their journey, the Source Hunters encounter numerous situations that require sacrifice, of comfort, of innocence, of cherished beliefs, and ultimately of their normal mortal existence. The game's treatment of sacrifice as both necessary and tragic provides depth to its exploration of heroic responsibility. Astarte's ultimate sacrifice, sealing herself away with the Void Dragon for eternity, represents the most dramatic example of this theme. Her choice demonstrates that true heroism sometimes requires accepting permanent personal cost for the sake of others. Her sacrifice is made more poignant by the knowledge that she has already endured eons of such suffering and that her action will condemn her to continue that struggle indefinitely. The Source Hunters themselves must sacrifice their normal lives and identities to fulfill their cosmic purpose. The revelation of their true nature means they can never again live as ordinary mortals, unaware of the cosmic forces that threaten existence. Knowledge brings responsibility, and responsibility brings the obligation to act, even when action requires great personal cost. Leandra's story represents a different kind of sacrifice, the sacrifice of one's moral compass and personal relationships in pursuit of what one believes to be a greater good. Her willingness to become the conduit and orchestrate mass murder demonstrates how the logic of sacrifice can be twisted to justify almost any action when one believes the stakes are high enough. The companions each make their own sacrifices to aid in the quest. Medora sacrifices her desire for simple revenge to focus on the greater threat. Jahan risks his soul by confronting the demons he has made pacts with. Berdota leaves behind the wild freedom she values to help civilized heroes save a world she doesn't fully understand. Even minor characters throughout the game face choices that require sacrifice. Citizens of Cyseal must choose between safety and justice when investigating corruption in their community. The people of Hunter's Edge must decide whether to resist the Immaculates at the cost of their lives or submit to preserve their families. The game suggests that the willingness to sacrifice is what ultimately distinguishes heroes from ordinary people. However, it also warns against the dangers of sacrifice becoming an end in itself, as demonstrated by the Immaculate's belief that universal sacrifice through destruction represents the ultimate good. Chapter 24. The Cosmic Scale. One of the most impressive aspects of Divinity. Original Sin's storytelling is how it gradually expands from a simple murder mystery to a story of cosmic significance without losing sight of the human elements that make the characters relatable and the stakes emotionally meaningful. The progression from investigating a single death in a small port town to battling for the survival of all existence represents a masterful example of scope escalation in narrative design. Each revelation builds logically on what came before so that the cosmic implications feel earned rather than arbitrary. The murder of Counselor Jake serves as the perfect entry point because it grounds the story in recognizable human motivations and concerns. Everyone can understand the basic concepts of crime, investigation, and justice, making it easy for players to become invested in the initial mystery before the larger implications become apparent. The gradual introduction of increasingly fantastical elements, from simple magic and undead creatures to ancient gods and cosmic dragons, allows players to adjust their expectations and understanding as the story develops. By the time the heroes are battling entities that threaten all of existence, the progression feels natural rather than jarring. The cosmic scale of the final conflict is made meaningful by its connection to the personal relationships and individual choices that drive the earlier parts of the story. The battle against the Void Dragon matters not just because it threatens abstract concepts like existence, but because it threatens the specific people and places the heroes have come to care about. The revelation that the Source Hunters are reincarnated cosmic guardians provides a satisfying explanation for why ordinary mortals could achieve such extraordinary feats while maintaining the story's emphasis on personal growth and earned heroism. They may have cosmic significance, but they still had to rediscover their abilities and prove themselves worthy of their divine heritage. The game's treatment of cosmic forces as being subject to moral and ethical considerations, rather than being beyond such concerns, maintains the human perspective, even when dealing with universe-spanning conflicts. The gods and cosmic entities in the story make mistakes, experience emotions, and face moral dilemmas, just like mortal characters. Chapter 25. The Art of World Building. The world of Rivellon as presented in Divinity. Original Sin demonstrates sophisticated world building that creates a setting that feels both fantastical and grounded in consistent internal logic. The various locations, cultures, and magical systems all work together to create a cohesive environment that supports and enhances the story being told. Cyseal serves as an excellent introduction to the world because it presents a complete, functioning society with its own politics, economics, and social structures. The city feels lived in, with characters who have their own motivations and relationships that exist independently of the main plot. This creates a sense of authenticity that makes the subsequent fantastic elements more believable. The progression through different environments, from the civilized port city to the mystical forests, from ancient mines to fairy realms, showcases the diversity of the world while maintaining consistent themes and magical principles. Each location has its own distinct character while contributing to the overall narrative arc. The magical system of the game world is presented as having consistent rules and limitations that characters must work within rather than being an unlimited source of easy solutions. Source magic has specific properties and costs, elemental interactions follow logical patterns, and even divine beings are subject to certain constraints. The history of the world is revealed gradually through environmental storytelling, ancient artifacts, and the recollections of long-lived characters like Zandalore. This approach creates a sense of depth and age that makes the world feel like it has existed long before the events of the game and will continue to exist afterward. The various cultures and factions in the world each have their own belief systems, customs, and goals that create natural sources of conflict and alliance. The Immaculates are not simply evil for the sake of being evil, but represent a particular philosophical response to the problem of suffering and mortality. The integration of gameplay mechanics with world-building elements creates a unified experience where the rules of the game world and the rules of the game system support each other. Environmental interactions, magical combinations, and tactical combat all feel like natural expressions of the world's internal logic. Chapter 26. The Resolution and its Implications. The conclusion of Divinity. Original Sin provides a satisfying resolution to the immediate cosmic crisis, while setting up questions and themes that resonate throughout the broader series. The defeat of the Void Dragon and the containment of the cosmic threat represents a victory for the forces of creation and order, but it comes with significant costs and complications. Astarte's willing sacrifice to maintain the eternal vigil against the Void Dragon demonstrates that some threats require permanent vigilance rather than definitive solutions. The cosmic order is maintained not through the elimination of evil, but through the constant effort of those willing to stand guard against it. The revelation that other gods knowingly permitted the corruption of Source adds a layer of ambiguity to the hero's victory. While they have saved existence from immediate destruction, they have also preserved a cosmic order that may be fundamentally flawed or corrupt. This knowledge burdens the Source Hunters with questions about the nature of justice and the responsibility of heroes to challenge unjust systems. The restoration of the Source Hunter's divine nature represents both an achievement and a loss. They have regained their cosmic significance and power, but they can never again experience the simple pleasures and concerns of mortal existence. Their transformation into cosmic guardians separates them from the ordinary world they fought to protect. The fate of Leandra, whether redeemed through the restoration of her soul forge with Icara or destroyed as an irredeemable enemy, reflects the game's complex treatment of redemption and justice. The possibility of redemption suggests that even the most corrupted beings can be saved through love and compassion, while the alternative demonstrates that some choices have consequences that cannot be undone. The game's ending leaves the Source Hunters positioned to embark on new adventures in their restored roles as cosmic guardians. The knowledge that other gods may be corrupt or manipulative suggests that their work is far from over and that they may need to challenge the very systems they have just finished defending. The cyclical nature of the cosmic conflict, with threats contained rather than eliminated, reflects real-world understanding that good and evil are ongoing forces that require constant vigilance rather than one-time victories. The Source Hunter's story represents one chapter in an eternal struggle rather than a final resolution. Epilogue. The enduring legacy. As we reach the end of our comprehensive exploration of Divinity, Original Sin's story, we can see how this remarkable tale weaves together intimate personal drama with cosmic significance, creating a narrative that operates successfully on multiple levels simultaneously. The journey of the two Source Hunters from simple investigators to cosmic guardians represents one of gaming's most sophisticated treatments of the hero's journey. Their gradual discovery of their true nature parallels the player's own growing understanding of the game's deeper mysteries, creating a unique narrative experience where character development and player discovery proceed in perfect harmony. The game's treatment of moral complexity, from Leandra's tragic fall to Jahan's demonic bargains to the revelation of divine corruption, demonstrates that video game narratives can tackle sophisticated ethical questions without resorting to simple good versus evil dichotomies. Every major character in the story faces difficult choices with no perfect solutions, reflecting the messy reality of moral decision-making in a complex world. The companions who join the Source Hunters on their journey each represent different aspects of the heroic path, from Medora's straightforward courage to Bear Dota's natural wisdom, to Jahan's dangerous knowledge. Their individual stories interweave with the larger cosmic drama to create a rich tapestry of character development and thematic exploration. The world of Rivellon itself serves as more than just a backdrop for the hero's adventures. Its deep history, complex magical systems, and diverse cultures create a living environment that feels authentic and meaningful. The careful world-building supports the story's themes, while providing endless opportunities for exploration and discovery. The game's innovative cooperative features demonstrate that role-playing can be genuinely collaborative, with mechanical systems that support shared storytelling and decision-making. The ability for two players to inhabit the roles of the main characters and work together to shape the story represents a significant evolution in RPG design. Perhaps most importantly, Divinity. Original Sin demonstrates that video games can tell stories that rival the best fantasy literature in their scope, complexity, and emotional depth. The tale of source corruption, cosmic guardians, and the eternal struggle between creation and destruction provides themes that resonate long after the final battle is won. The game's influence can be seen throughout the RPG genre, from its approach to environmental interaction, to its treatment of moral choice, to its integration of cooperative gameplay. It has inspired countless other developers to push the boundaries of what role-playing games can achieve in terms of narrative sophistication and player agency. As we conclude this deep dive into one of gaming's greatest stories, we're reminded that the best interactive narratives do more than simply entertain. They challenge us to think about complex questions, to consider different perspectives, and to imagine ourselves as heroes capable of making difficult choices in service of something greater than ourselves. The Source Hunter's victory over the Void Dragon may have saved existence itself, but their true achievement lies in demonstrating that heroism is not about possessing great power, but about choosing to use whatever power we have in service of others, even when that choice requires great personal sacrifice. Thank you for joining me on this epic journey through the complete story of Divinity, Original Sin. The tale of two humble source hunters who discovered they were ancient cosmic guardians stands as one of gaming's most ambitious and successful narrative achievements. From their arrival on the beaches of Cyseal to investigate a simple murder, through their gradual discovery of a cosmic conspiracy that threatened all existence, to their final battle against the Void Dragon itself, the Source Hunter's journey represents the very best of what interactive storytelling can achieve. The game's masterful pacing allows players to grow alongside their characters, discovering the deeper mysteries of the world at the same rate that the heroes uncover their own forgotten past. This parallel journey of discovery creates an unusually strong connection between player and character that enhances every aspect of the experience. Chapter 27. The Technical Achievement. Beyond its narrative accomplishments, Divinity, Original Sin represents a significant technical achievement in RPG design. The game's systems work together seamlessly to create an experience that feels both familiar and innovative, building on classic RPG traditions, while introducing new mechanics that enhance player agency and creative problem-solving. The environmental interaction system stands as one of the game's most impressive innovations. The ability to combine elements like fire, water, ice, electricity, and poison in complex ways creates emergent gameplay situations that encourage experimentation and reward creative thinking. A simple encounter can become a complex tactical puzzle when players start manipulating the environment to create advantages. Water can be electrified to stun enemies, oil can be ignited to create walls of flame. Ice can be melted to create water that can then be frozen again to create new tactical opportunities. These interactions feel natural and logical rather than arbitrary, creating a system that rewards understanding rather than memorization. The turn-based combat system provides the tactical depth necessary to make full use of these environmental interactions. Unlike real-time systems where complex combinations might be difficult to execute under pressure, the turn-based approach allows players to carefully consider their options and plan elaborate strategies. The character development system strikes an excellent balance between structure and freedom. While there are clear class archetypes and recommended builds, the system is flexible enough to allow for unusual combinations and experimental approaches. Players can create hybrid characters that combine different schools of magic, mix martial and magical abilities, or focus on highly specialized builds that excel in specific situations. The cooperative gameplay represents perhaps the most innovative aspect of the game's design. The ability for two players to control the main characters and make decisions together creates a genuinely collaborative storytelling experience. The rock-paper-scissors system for resolving disagreements provides a mechanical framework for handling conflicting player preferences while maintaining narrative immersion. The dialogue system between the two main characters creates opportunities for roleplay, even in single-player mode, as players can have conversations with themselves and explore different personality traits and decision-making approaches. This system helps establish the characters as distinct individuals rather than blank slates, while still allowing for player input and choice. Chapter 28. The Cultural Impact Divinity. Original Sin's success helped demonstrate the viability of crowd-funded game development and contributed to a renaissance of classic-style RPGs that might not have been possible through traditional publishing models. The game's Kickstarter campaign raised over $1 million, proving that there was significant demand for deep, complex role-playing experiences. The success of the campaign also validated the concept of including powerful modding tools with commercial releases. By shipping the game with the same editor used by the developers, Larian Studios empowered the community to create their own adventures and extend the game's lifespan far beyond what would have been possible with official content alone. The game's approach to moral choice and consequence influenced numerous subsequent RPGs, demonstrating that players appreciated complex ethical dilemmas that didn't have clear right or wrong answers. The nuanced treatment of characters like Leandra and Jahan showed that compelling stories could emerge from exploring the grey areas between heroism and villainy. The environmental interaction system has been adopted and adapted by numerous other developers, becoming a standard feature in many modern RPGs. The concept of allowing players to manipulate the battlefield through elemental combinations has become an expected feature rather than an innovative exception. The game's success also helped establish Larian Studios as a major force in the RPG genre, leading to the even more successful Divinity, Original Sin 2, and eventually to their work on Baldur's Gate 3. The foundation laid by the first Original Sin game can be seen in all of these subsequent projects. Chapter 29. The Philosophical Underpinnings. At its core, Divinity, Original Sin is a meditation on the nature of power, responsibility, and the cost of heroism. The game consistently challenges players to consider what it means to be a hero and what price one should be willing to pay to protect others. The revelation that the Source Hunters are reincarnated cosmic guardians who chose to forget their power in order to earn it back through heroic deeds provides a unique twist on the Chosen One narrative. Rather than being special because of their birth or destiny, they are special because of their choice to grow and develop, rather than relying on inherited abilities. This concept suggests that true heroism comes not from having power, but from how one chooses to use whatever power one possesses. The Source Hunters had to prove themselves worthy of their cosmic significance through their actions and choices, not simply accept it as their birthright. The game's treatment of memory and identity raises profound questions about what makes us who we are. Are we defined by our past actions, our present choices, or our future potential? The Source Hunter's journey suggests that identity is something that must be continually earned rather than simply inherited or assumed. The cosmic scale of the conflict provides a framework for exploring universal themes while maintaining focus on individual character development. The battle between creation and destruction, order and chaos, becomes meaningful because it affects specific people and places that the heroes have come to care about. The game's approach to sacrifice as both necessary and tragic reflects a mature understanding of heroism that acknowledges its costs. True heroes in this world don't simply win through superior force or clever strategy. They succeed because they are willing to accept personal cost for the sake of others. Chapter 30. The emotional journey, one of the most remarkable aspects of Divinity. Original Sin is how it manages to maintain emotional authenticity while dealing with cosmic scope and fantastical elements. The relationships between characters feel genuine and meaningful despite the extraordinary circumstances they find themselves in. The relationship between Icara and Leandra serves as the emotional heart of the story. Their transformation from loving sisters to tragic enemies provides a personal stakes that makes the cosmic conflict meaningful on a human level. The possibility of redemption and reconciliation gives weight to every choice the players make regarding their fate. The Source Hunter's own relationship, whether played cooperatively by two players or managed by a single player controlling both characters, develops naturally throughout the story. Their shared journey of discovery creates bonds that feel earned rather than imposed by the narrative. The companions each bring their own emotional arcs that interweave with the larger story. Medora's quest for justice and closure, Jahan's struggle with redemption and the cost of power, Bear Dota's search for belonging and purpose. All of these personal stories enhance the epic scope of the main narrative. Even minor characters are given enough depth and motivation to feel like real people, rather than simple quest givers or exposition providers. The citizens of Cyseal, the cultists in the Immaculates, even the enemies the heroes face all have understandable motivations that make their actions feel logical within the context of their beliefs and circumstances. The game's pacing allows for moments of quiet character development between the more dramatic action sequences, conversations in the homestead, interactions with companions during travel, and the gradual revelation of the hero's true nature all contribute to building emotional investment in the characters and their relationships. Chapter 31. The Technical Legacy. The technical innovations introduced in Divinity. Original Sin have had lasting impact on the RPG genre and continue to influence game design years after the original release. The environmental interaction system in particular has become a benchmark for tactical combat design in role-playing games. The game's approach to physics simulation, allowing objects to be moved, stacked, thrown, and combined in realistic ways, created opportunities for creative problem-solving that went far beyond what the developers originally anticipated. Players discovered strategies and solutions that the designers never intended, leading to a truly emergent gameplay experience. The dialogue system that allowed for disagreement and debate between the main characters provided a mechanical framework for collaborative storytelling that has been studied and adapted by numerous other developers. The concept of having built-in systems for handling player disagreement has become an important consideration in cooperative game design. The crafting system, which allowed for logical combinations of materials to create useful items, set new standards for how such systems should work in RPGs. Rather than requiring players to memorize arbitrary recipes, the system rewarded logical thinking and experimentation. The modding tools included with the game have enabled the creation of countless community adventures, some of which rival the quality of the original campaign. This approach to community engagement has become a model for how developers can extend the lifespan and value of their games through player creativity. The enhanced edition's improvements to voice acting, quest design, and user interface demonstrated the value of post-release development and refinement. The willingness to significantly improve and expand the game after release set a positive precedent for ongoing support of RPG products. Chapter 32. the narrative structure. The structure of Divinity. Original Sin's narrative represents a masterclass in pacing and revelation. The game begins with a simple, relatable premise, investigating a murder, and gradually expands its scope without ever losing sight of the human elements that make the story compelling. The progression from local mystery to regional conspiracy to cosmic threat feels natural and earned. Each new revelation builds logically on what came before, so that by the time the heroes are battling gods and dragons, the escalation feels inevitable rather than arbitrary. The use of the homestead as a central hub creates a sense of growing understanding and empowerment as new areas unlock with each starstone discovered. This mechanical progression mirrors the narrative progression of the heroes discovering their true nature and abilities. The companion quests provide parallel character development that enriches the main story without distracting from it. Each companion's personal journey reflects different aspects of the themes explored in the main narrative, creating a cohesive experience where every element supports the whole. The moral choices presented throughout the game build toward the ultimate decision regarding Leandra's fate, creating a sense that every choice matters and contributes to the final outcome. The possibility of redemption versus the necessity of justice becomes a central tension that drives player engagement. The revelation of the hero's true identity is carefully foreshadowed throughout the journey, with enough hints to make attentive players suspect the truth while still maintaining the impact of the final revelation. This balance between mystery and inevitability is one of the story's greatest strengths. Chapter 33. The world-building achievement Rivellon as presented in Divinity. Original Sin feels like a complete living world with its own history, cultures, and natural laws. The careful attention to detail in creating this setting pays dividends throughout the player's journey, as every location and character feels authentic and meaningful. The magic system is presented as having consistent rules and limitations that characters must work within, rather than being an unlimited source of easy solutions. Source magic has specific properties and costs, elemental interactions follow logical patterns, and even divine beings are subject to certain constraints. The political and social structures of the various communities feel realistic and lived in. Cyseal operates like a real medieval port city with its own economic interests, political tensions, and social hierarchies. The Immaculates represent a believable religious movement with clear motivations and organizational structure. The history of the world is revealed gradually through environmental storytelling, ancient artifacts, and the recollections of long-lived characters. This approach creates a sense of depth and age that makes the world feel like it has existed long before the events of the game and will continue afterward. The integration of gameplay mechanics with world-building elements creates a unified experience where the rules of the game world and the rules of the game system support each other. Combat mechanics feel like natural expressions of the world's magical laws, while exploration and puzzle solving reflect the logical properties of the environment. Chapter 34. The themes of power and corruption. Throughout the story, Divinity. Original Sin explores the complex relationship between power and corruption, examining how even beneficial forces can be twisted to destructive ends, and how good intentions can lead to terrible consequences. The corruption of source magic serves as the central metaphor for this theme. Something that was once purely beneficial, associated with healing, protection, and the goddess of life herself, becomes a force of destruction and chaos when corrupted by external influences. This transformation suggests that no power, no matter how benevolent its origins, is immune to corruption. Leandra's fall from loving sister to cosmic destroyer demonstrates how personal pain and manipulation can corrupt even the most well-intentioned individuals. Her belief that universal non-existence represents mercy shows how twisted logic can justify almost any action when one believes the stakes are high enough. The revelation that other gods knowingly permitted the corruption of Source adds another layer to the theme of power corruption. Even divine beings, supposedly representing the ultimate good, are capable of making decisions based on self-interest rather than universal welfare. The Source Hunters themselves must grapple with the corrupting potential of their own power. As they regain their cosmic abilities and divine nature, they face the constant temptation to use their power for quick solutions, rather than earning their victories through growth and understanding. The Immaculates represent institutionalized corruption, showing how organized religion can be twisted to serve destructive ends while maintaining the appearance of righteousness. Their systematic sacrifice and murder is justified through elaborate theological frameworks that make evil appear virtuous. Chapter 35. The Resolution's Complexity, the Ending of Divinity. Original sin avoids simple resolution in favor of complex consequences that reflect the sophisticated themes explored throughout the story. The defeat of the Void Dragon represents a victory for creation and order, but it comes with costs and complications that color the hero's triumph. Astarte's sacrifice to maintain the eternal vigil demonstrates that some threats require ongoing vigilance rather than final victory. The cosmic order is preserved not through the elimination of evil, but through the constant effort of those willing to stand guard against it. This resolution acknowledges that in the real world, most conflicts require ongoing management rather than definitive solutions. The restoration of the Source Hunter's divine nature represents both achievement and loss. They have regained their cosmic significance and power, but they can never again experience the simple pleasures and concerns of mortal existence. Their transformation separates them from the ordinary world they fought to protect, creating a bittersweet victory. The knowledge that other gods may be corrupt or manipulative suggests that the hero's work is far from over. They have saved existence from immediate destruction, but they have also learned that the cosmic order they serve may itself be flawed. This knowledge creates new responsibilities and new moral dilemmas for future adventures. The possibility of Leandra's redemption, or the necessity of her destruction, reflects the game's complex treatment of justice and mercy. The outcome depends on choices made throughout the entire journey, demonstrating that consequences build over time, rather than resulting from single decisive moments. Chapter 36. The Community, a Modding Legacy. One of the most lasting aspects of Divinity, Original Sin's impact has been its vibrant modding community, enabled by the comprehensive editor tools included with the game. This community has created countless adventures, modifications, and improvements that have extended the game's lifespan far beyond what would have been possible with official content alone. The decision to include the same editor used by the developers was revolutionary for a commercial RPG release. This approach empowered players to create their own content and share it with others, fostering a creative community that continues to produce new experiences years after the original release. Community-created adventures have explored different aspects of the Rivellon setting, telling new stories within the established framework, while experimenting with different gameplay mechanics and narrative approaches. Some of these fan-created campaigns rival the quality of the original game and have introduced innovative ideas that have influenced subsequent official releases. The modding community has also created numerous quality-of-life improvements, balance adjustments, and additional content that addresses specific player needs and preferences. This ongoing refinement and expansion demonstrates the value of empowering players to modify and improve the games they love. The collaborative nature of the modding community mirrors the cooperative gameplay that is central to the game's design. Players work together to create, test, and refine new content, sharing knowledge and resources to push the boundaries of what is possible within the game's framework. Chapter 37. The Educational Value. Beyond Entertainment, Divinity. Original Sin serves as an excellent example of how video games can educate players about complex topics through interactive experience. The game's exploration of moral philosophy, political theory, and interpersonal relationships provides valuable learning opportunities that extend beyond the gaming experience. The moral dilemmas presented throughout the story require players to consider multiple perspectives and weigh competing ethical claims. These exercises in moral reasoning help develop critical thinking skills that are valuable in real-world situations. The game's treatment of political and social structures provides insight into how power operates in complex systems. The corruption of beneficial institutions, the manipulation of religious beliefs for political ends, and the difficulty of creating meaningful change within established systems all reflect real-world political dynamics. The character development arcs demonstrate the importance of personal growth, the value of diverse perspectives, and the power of cooperation in achieving common goals. The relationships between the heroes and their companions model healthy communication and mutual support. The world-building elements introduce concepts from history, mythology, and literature in an accessible and engaging format. The game's fantasy setting provides a safe space to explore dangerous ideas and their consequences without real-world risk. Chapter 38. The Influence on Subsequent Games. The Success and Innovation of Divinity. Original Sin has had far-reaching influence on the RPG genre, inspiring numerous subsequent games to adopt similar approaches to player agency, environmental interaction, and cooperative storytelling. The environmental interaction system has become a standard feature in many modern RPGs, with developers recognizing the value of allowing players to manipulate their surroundings in tactical and creative ways. Games across multiple genres now include similar systems for combining elements and using the environment as a tool. The approach to moral choice and consequence has influenced how developers think about player agency and narrative branching. The recognition that players appreciate complex ethical dilemmas without clear right answers has led to more sophisticated storytelling in RPGs generally. The cooperative features have inspired other developers to consider how multiplayer experiences can enhance rather than detract from narrative-focused games. The mechanical systems for handling disagreement and collaboration have been studied and adapted across the industry. The success of the crowdfunding campaign helped validate alternative funding models for RPG development, leading to numerous successful Kickstarter campaigns for other classic-style RPGs. This has enabled the creation of games that might not have been viable through traditional publishing channels. Conclusion: a masterpiece of interactive storytelling. As we reach the end of our comprehensive journey through the story of Divinity, Original Sin, we can appreciate why this game stands as one of the greatest achievements in RPG storytelling. The tale of two source hunters who discover their true nature as cosmic guardians represents everything that makes interactive fiction special. The game succeeds on multiple levels simultaneously, as an engaging murder mystery, as an epic fantasy adventure, as a cosmic drama of universal significance, and as an intimate character study of growth, sacrifice, and redemption. This multi-layered approach creates a rich, rewarding experience that reveals new depths with each playthrough. The innovative gameplay systems work in perfect harmony with the narrative themes, creating a unified experience where every mechanical element supports the story being told. The environmental interactions reflect the game's themes of creative problem-solving and working within natural laws, while the cooperative features embody the importance of collaboration and communication. The world of Rivellon feels authentic and lived in, with enough depth and complexity to support not just the main story, but countless community-created adventures. The careful world-building pays dividends throughout the player's journey, as every location and character feels meaningful and purposeful. Perhaps most importantly, Divinity. Original Sin demonstrates that video games can tackle serious themes and complex ideas without sacrificing entertainment value. The game's exploration of power, corruption, sacrifice, and redemption provides thought-provoking content that lingers long after the final battle is won. The Source Hunters' transformation from humble investigators to cosmic guardians mirrors our own journey as players, growing in understanding and capability as we progress through their adventure. This parallel development creates an unusually strong connection between player and character that enhances every aspect of the experience. The game's influence continues to be felt throughout the RPG genre and beyond, inspiring developers to push the boundaries of what interactive storytelling can achieve. Its technical innovations, narrative sophistication, and community engagement set new standards that continue to influence game development years after its release. In the end, Divinity, Original Sin stands as proof that video games can be legitimate works of art, capable of exploring the deepest questions about human nature, morality, and our place in the universe. The story of the Source Hunters and their battle against cosmic destruction provides a perfect example of how interactive fiction can use player agency and choice to create meaningful, lasting experiences. The tale of corrupted source magic, ancient guardians, and the eternal struggle between creation and destruction will continue to inspire and entertain players for years to come, standing as a testament to the power of collaborative storytelling and the unique possibilities offered by the medium of interactive entertainment. Thank you for joining me on this epic exploration of one of gaming's greatest stories. I hope this deep dive has given you new appreciation for the artistry and craftsmanship that went into creating this remarkable adventure. If you enjoyed this journey through the world of Rivellon, please like this video for more deep dives into gaming's greatest tales. Until next time, keep exploring those epic stories, fellow adventurers.